Chapman, who was the Chief of Staff in the Government Department for leaving the European Union, has said Brexit is a catastrophe and a new party should be set up to oppose it. It would be called the Democrats. He's floated the idea on Twitter, says he's surprised by the level of support he's received. He's on the line, so is Jacob Rees Mogg, Conservative MP and, of course, prominent Brexiteer. James Chapman, it's being reported that you have had 7 ministers contacting you, including 2 cabinet ministers who are sympathetic to this idea. Really?
Well, they're not all ministers, John, but yes, two people in the cabinet now, a number of people who've been in Conservative cabinets before now, better cabinets, I might say, than the current one. And a number of shadow cabinet ministers have also been in touch. I mean, they're not saying that they're going to quit their parties, but they're saying they understand that there's an enormous gap in the centre now of British politics, which has been look. The 2 main parties have been captured by their fringes.
All right, but hang on, before you...
Jacob's a member of that fringe. He's captured my party, and I don't any longer want to be a part of it.
But you worked for him.
I didn't work for Jacob, and I never.
Oh, Jacob! I thought you said David, right? Because you worked, of course, for David Davis.
I did.
Who presumably doesn't go along with you entirely, as it were.
No, I'm sure he doesn't.
And you're wholly opposed. But this idea that there are 2 cabinet ministers who are sympathetic to you, I mean, would they even contemplate leaving the party to form another party? I mean, that could bring down the government.
I think, John, my view is that the Conservative Party brand has now been damaged to such an extent that the party won't be elected again and ever again get a majority. So, and look, there are times in our national life when you have to put your nation before your country. And what the hard Brexit plan that Mrs May is pursuing is going to take our economy off a cliff. It's going to make Black Wednesday look like a picnic.
All right.
And when that happens, the Conservative Party will never be in power again. So actually, if you are a cabinet minister thinking you're contemplating this as a disaster, and don't forget that 60% of the Tory parliamentary party were for Remain. And they're paralysed.
OK, well, Jacob...
They won't say what they think.
Right, Jacob Rees Mogg, first of all, do you accept that there is this extreme level of discontent in the party and at the very, very top level in the cabinet?
I'd be very surprised, but bear in mind the effective Deputy Prime Minister, Damien Green, is somebody who has historically been strongly in favour of the European Union, and yet is playing an absolutely crucial role.
Hang on, James, let Jacob talk.
But is playing a crucial role in ensuring that government policy is delivered. I think most people in the higher levels of the party and across the Conservative Party in the nation have accepted the democratic result of the referendum a year ago. And opinion polls show this. About 70% of people just want Brexit to be delivered, however they voted a year ago, because most people accept democracy. And what's so peculiar about this new party is it wants to call itself the Democrats, and the first thing it wishes to do is to overturn a democratic decision.
Well, it's not actually a party yet, is it? It's just a dream.
Well, proposed party. But their proposed name ought to be the oligarchs rather than the Democrats.
Right. And that is...
Jacob, you'd know about them. I mean, I would just say that David Davis, I respect...
Not the circles I mix in.
I respect, well, I'm sure. I respect and admire David Davis. He said only 5 years ago, in a democracy, people have the right to change their minds. And the point about this is, Jacob, people have voted for Brexit. And yes, most people do now think, well, let's just get on with it. We made the decision. But they've been sold a pack of lies. Where is the £350 million a week for the health service?
And when you said all of this to David Davis when you worked for him, what did he say to you?
Well, he wants to get on with the job. And so do the civil servants who Jacob denigrates day in, day out, who are working very hard to deliver something they know is undeliverable and is going to be a calamity for our country.
I haven't said anything about civil servants, so it's better not to attribute views to people when you don't know what they've said. But the Democratic vote was not only last year, it was also this year. The Lib Dems campaigned on a proposal effectively to reverse the referendum result, and the electorate blew a raspberry at them.
But you were...
They also blew a raspberry.
Hang on, James, hang on.
There's no... Well, they didn't actually. The Conservatives got more votes than at any point since 1983.
You have no mandate
Jacob Rees Mogg.
You've got no mandate for a hard Brexit. The British people have just rejected it.
All right, hang on a moment, James, please, let him speak. Jacob Rees Mogg, you would accept, would you not, that there are very clear divisions within your party?
I think the party has broadly united around the position of leaving the European Union, which is what the electorate voted for, and there is not hard or soft Brexit. There is either leaving the European Union or remaining within it. And what's so interesting about what Mr. Chapman is saying...
James, really, let him finish his sentence.
What Mr. Chapman is saying, is postulating, is once again wrapping up a soft Brexit, remaining in the European Union. We're getting these scare stories again. We had those a year ago. As it happens, the economy did not collapse after we voted to leave the European Union, which was what,
now,
which
Jacob?
is, yes, it is. Yesterday.
All right,
Yesterday we saw an 11.4% increase in our global trade.
All right, sorry, we have neither time nor the case to debate all the intricacies of Brexit. The question at the moment, James Chapman, the question at the moment is whether there really is the support of your party, your proposed party, this new Democrats party that you're claiming for it. What's the evidence, just in a few sentences, if you would, because you're about out of time. What is the evidence for this support?
As I say, there is a gap in the centre of British politics. An enormous number of people now have been left politically homeless by the extremists who have seized control of the two main parties.
All right, let me just ask you one more question then. Let me just ask you one more question, James Chapman. Is George Osborne behind this? Because you worked pretty closely, very closely with him. You were one of his pals. Is he behind it?
No, not at all. I haven't spoken to George about this. I think he's having a great deal of fun editing the Evening Standard, which is now the best newspaper in Fleet Street, and causing mayhem for Jacob and his colleagues.
There we are. We'll have to